Emotions are directly linked to your feeling, thinking, and communicating, which can take many different forms. All emotions are a fundamental of 5 core feelings: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and shame. As human beings, we are constantly experiencing different streams of emotions from almost everything that occurs in our lives, whether we are conscious of them or not. You're looking at the 5 core emotions right now. As you can see, they are displayed through different forms of intensity: high, medium, and low. The intensity of your feelings will vary. For example, if you're placed in a very content situation, such as getting recognition from your manager or getting a promotion from them, then you may feel a high intensity feeling of happiness. Examples of these feelings may come in the form of excitement, joy, thrilled, ecstatic. You get the point. Emotions are not easy to grasp or be conscious of. In fact, according to Emotional Intelligence 2.0, only 36% of people who were tested were able to recognize their emotions as they happen. There are primary, mixed, mild, and intense emotions. Primary emotions are basic emotions such as anger, joy, fear, and sadness. Mixed emotions are basic emotions intertwining with each other at the same time, which is like feeling 2 or more emotions happening together. For example, a common mixed emotion is jealousy, which is basically love and hate at the same time. Yeah, we all know how we get in our feels when we listen to this album. Talk about mixed emotions. Drake can have me feeling like I need to call my ex and then rap in the next song about being so elevated without nobody. Anyways, mild emotions are feelings that are hard to recognize. For example, being in a state of boredom is very difficult to display because you may show a different stream of emotion that would show something else, such as being quiet in a room can indicate boredom, or maybe you're just tired or having a long day, or maybe you just don't know anything about the topic that's being talked about, so you're being silent. There could be many reasons why you're quiet or showing boredom, so this can be very difficult to display. Intense emotions are very hard to express and control. And emotions such as grieving can be very difficult because one may grieve by crying to the world, and others may grieve by listening to music, sulking in bed, maybe even going to the gym, playing sports. Can you guess which type of person I am from all of these? And no, it wasn't crying to the world, but good guess. Fun fact, when I received devastating news years ago, I grieved by holding it in and going to the gym and just letting it out on the weights, and in 2 to 3 months, I was able to bench 2 plates, which was crazy to me because I'd never done that before and I still haven't been able to get back to that. Anyway, that's a different story for another day. This shows us how powerful of an impact our emotions can have on us on our everyday lives. Additionally, there are other influences on emotional expression which can be derived from culture, personality, gender, and emotional contagion. Your personality refers to differences and characteristic patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. It has no direct effect on your level of emotional intelligence. However, it can be used to develop your EQ. Since emotional intelligence is a flexible skill, personality does not change. Culture plays a major role in the values and feelings we tend to experience. Did you know that 90% of how you perceive the world is from cultural norms and values that you were taught as a child? Different cultures can generate the same emotions, however different feelings. For example, European Americans tend to value excitement, where Asian Americans tend to value calmness. Also, your gender role shapes who you are from a biological standpoint. The best predictor of the ability to detect and interpret emotional expressions is your biological sex. Studies show that women are more attuned to their emotions and feelings than men are. Women express feelings more significantly than men do. They tend to express themselves through emotions when men try to hide their emotions. Men talk in a way to conceal themselves rather than reveal themselves, which kind of explains why women are natural nurturers when it comes to having kids and raising them. I always felt like my mother was more empathetic towards my feelings, where my dad was way more harsh with me and would give it to me straight. For example, if I gain a bit of weight, my father would tell me I'm straight up fat and I should hit the gym ASAP, where my mother would actually comfort me and she would encourage me by making me healthy meals. Honestly, depending on the person you are, you're going to react differently to either situation, which is why it's crucial to understand the reasoning behind our emotions and how they occur, so we can regulate them in the hospitality industry. Now, before I get to the hospitality industry, I want to talk about one more thing: emotional contagion, which is the process by which emotions are transferred from one person to another. I tend to like to think about this like a domino effect, where one domino tumbles, hits the other, and then that one hits the other, and so on, creating a domino effect. So your emotions kind of work the same way. For example, if you're angry and you lash out at someone, you may make them feel angry as well. They may lash out at someone else as well. I remember when I used to get bullied in school, I used to hold on to that anger, wait till I get home and let it out on my parents, who would then let it out on my siblings, and then so on. However, this can also be used as a strategic advantage in hospitality. For example, Marriott as a hospitality company solely focuses on the happiness of their employees by taking care of their people first, because customers are affected by the employees as well in the business. So one of their first core values is we put people first. Meaning, by taking care of their employees, the employees will take care of the guests and the business will take care of itself. This is literally used as a core main value in one of the biggest travel companies in the world. If your employee is content and coming to work happy, guess what? That's gonna have an emotional contagion on the guests coming into your hospitality setting, and it may make them feel excited and happy. So knowing how to regulate your emotions can actually be a very strategic advantage in this industry. This is also evident in other scenarios such as classrooms, relationships, friendships, and many more environments in your everyday life. Emotional contagion is a major phenomenon used in hospitality to drive companies towards their goals and success. Other influences on expressing emotion can also come from social roles and fear of self-disclosure. However, this video will focus more on the science of emotions. Now, how else do emotions relate to hospitality? Well, you go through all sorts of emotions on an everyday basis in your industry. I've experienced happiness, sadness, anger, fear, and shamefulness all in one day. And this came in the form of excitement, distress, frustration, anxiety, and uncomfortableness. These emotions happen quite often because of the intensity of the industry and what it demands from you as an employee. For example, if you're working front desk and you have 200 check-ins that day, then chances are you're going to experience many different emotions, because these guests are bringing in all sorts of emotions when traveling. Have you ever traveled so long and you feel so tired and cranky? Well, imagine a guest coming in, the front desk associate is the first person they interact with, which is one of the most crucial roles in the hotel. Now, if you as an employee allow this guest to make you feel also cranky and angry because of their emotions, that can negatively influence their whole experience. Then the guest can complain, and that can turn ugly very quickly if you don't know how to handle that. This is why it is so important to understand how you regulate your emotions on a daily basis, and I will cover this in another video on emotional intelligence and how this can help us excel our careers in hospitality. The science behind our emotions play a crucial role in understanding where they come from. This comes from the human five senses. Everything you see, smell, hear, taste, and touch travels through your body in the form of electric signals. These signals pass through your cells until they reach your brain, which they enter from the spinal cord towards your limbic system first, and then to your prefrontal cortex. Your limbic system's primary function is for emotional life, meaning it's responsible for regulating your hunger, thirst, response to pain, levels of pleasure, sexual satisfaction, anger, and aggressive behavior. The limbic system is where your emotions are produced and where they come from. Since your signals pass through the limbic system first before going to the prefrontal cortex, any situation you have in your life, any experience you have, will first go through an emotional experience before it can go through rational and logical thinking. So that means a lot of everyday choices come from our emotions. If our emotions regulate hunger, pain, pleasure, anger, and behavior, then it is very important to train ourselves to control and regulate these emotions on a daily basis in order to maintain great connections, relationships, keep you out of trouble, and overall increase your awareness in life, whether that's your hospitality job or your family, your sports setting, no matter what it is. Many things in life take up emotions. Actually, almost everything in life derives from an emotion, and our choices are dictated by our emotions. So this is why it is very crucial to understand the science behind it, because this will all have a drastic change and impact your life. Now, the communication between your emotional and rational brains is the physical source of emotional intelligence. This proves that emotional intelligence requires effective communication between your limbic system and frontal lobe of your brain. This is directly tied to your psychological factors, which are strong emotions accompanied by physiological changes. They are important internal cues that offer a meaning to our emotions. For example, if you are put in a life or death situation, your fear would increase your heart rate, which would cause your muscles to tense up and even take away your movement in some situations. Being able to control our emotions and communicate effectively between both parts of our brains will dictate how well we handle these situations in life regarding our rational and emotional thinking. Thank you for watching. Join me next week where I'll dive in emotional intelligence and explain how crucial it is in the hospitality industry and how you can use it to excel your career.